All right. So apparently the first video of the Icarus storyline for us to understand is birth. So this is crucial for understanding the beginning of the narrative, shall we? Oh, let me give you some sound because I'm all muted over here. Here we go.
Take away kiss 같다 넌 달콤했어 나 Everything 내 모든 거 단지 하나 묻고 싶어 내 맘에 널 묶어서 눈 감을까 사라진데도 사라지지 않는 You swallow me 목끝에서 느껴져 I could give their ex-boyfriends 너를 찍는 광고 flyer Thinking 너에겐 난 독백 I've been rolling down my sleeping I could make a better future 잠을 섞여 내일부터 꺼진 미소로 난 탄생 선물 속에 너 illusion 선명해진 건 내 안에 조작된 추억 눈 감고 촛불 앞에 맹세해 이건 선물이야 사랑해줘 잊어줄게 잊혀질게 널 떠나줄게 거짓말이으로만 가 lie 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 Fake it all 청순한 네 얼굴 거울 속 나를 봐 Fake it all 어떤 게 진짜인지 Everything is yours I could get your ex-boyfriend 너를 찾는 광고 flyer 선망 속에 넌 illusion 선명해진 건 내 안에 조작된 추억 눈 감고 촛불 앞에 맹세해 이건 축복이야 미워해줘
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Huh.
미워해줘
I don't think I got any answers yet, but for some reason this shot sticks out to me. I don't think this is right, but I'm going to say it anyway. This shot actually felt like this was the mother. You know what I mean? Like the mother in the story. And even though the daughter wanted to take revenge on the mom, it's because she didn't have the whole story and mom was actually the right one of the story. I don't know. It doesn't feel right, but that's kind of what came to me. Do you feel like you got any answers from this? Are they hunters of Artemis that got dropped in some other dimension universe without their memories and now they're trying to find each other? That's pretty interesting. They seem to be maidens of Artemis. Okay. I tell you, I love the song. I think the song is beautiful. I love the song. Video, still have questions. I love this scene. This scene with the glowing entity here, I thought that was great. But so, again, more questions. This is supposed to be the birth of the narrative of Icarus. Now, yes, we have these shots and pieces of the story. So we see the moon, we see like the kingdom back here. I don't know what this represents. Like, okay, so she's eating by herself. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's interesting. So somebody said maybe they're trying to find each other because there are 4 other plates and she's by herself. Now, in the last shot, we see that there's 5 of them. So if we go to this shot, wherever it was, yes, she is eating by herself. 5 of them, and then here's the goddess. So I guess this is Artemis, basically. And then now I see why you think they're maidens. That kind of makes sense. So the candle is how they communicate, I'm assuming, because the last thing we see her do is light that candle. Now it's also should be noted that here we have, I'm going to assume what is this kingdom or whatever. Down here is some kind of like ocean or blood or whatever this is also in the glasses. That seems important. A beacon back home. Okay, yeah, I could see that with the candle, yeah. Now we see the candle here with the 5 of them, and then I guess Artemis. Now this seems, okay, so now I feel like I'm getting some pieces now. This felt like a runaway. This felt, because of course I'm looking at it from like modern day perspective. This felt like a runaway, or, you know, she left a relationship or something because she has the crying eyes makeup almost. The hair is very teased. But now that I'm understanding they're trying to find each other, this makes more sense. Why would you shove your actually? That makes more sense than anything. Is that cake? Oh, if that's cake, I totally get it. See, in this moment, I would be happy that I don't have my 4 siblings with me. That's probably what I would do then. I'm by myself, cake.
I could get your ex-boyfriends. 너를 찍는 광고 flyer. Thinking I can talk back. I've been rolling down my sleeping. I could make it back.
So Artemis communicating with the girls. Okay.
The future. 잠을 섞여 내일부터. 꺼진 미소로 난 평생.
See, this repeated shot of Artemis bleeding in some way. At one point, she's missing a head. Now we have this. Like, is the girl's mission born of Artemis? Or the destruction of Artemis? Is this like a Voltron situation where they come together and when they're together is when Artemis becomes available? I don't know. Or someone attacked Artemis and took her place. Interesting. Interesting. Are the 5 of them each a piece of Artemis? And that's why they're separated. Artemis was destroyed into 5 pieces. The torso, the arms, the legs. Kind of like Captain Planet, yeah. And that's why they're trying to find each other again so that they can complete the Artemis robot. See, and the reason I say this is because, like, you can see here, and every time they throw the Icarus on the screen in some way, it's always 5 glowing balls, and then they're coming down from this, which is very, it's not Icarus per se, it kind of is in a way, you know, flying too close to the sun, but okay. Gods and goddesses can turn their favorite mortals into stars. Ooh, that seems next level. I'm gonna have to hang on to that one. 잊어줄게, 잊혀질게, 널 떠나줄게.
거짓말이
See, 5 glowing balls.
너만 가 lie 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 Fake it all 청순한 네 얼굴 거울서 나를 봐 Fake it all 어떤 게 진짜인지 Everything is yours I could get your ex-boyfriend 너를 찾는 광고 flyer
Interesting. All right, so then I think this shot in and of itself kind of tells us that Artemis is not destroyed into 5 different entities, which was my favorite theory. But Artemis is somehow communicating with the girls to almost lead them to each other, maybe?
선망 속에 넣은 illusion 선명해진 건 내 안에 조작된 추억 눈 감고 촛불 앞에 맹세해 이건 축복이야 미워해줘
Interesting. Going back through it, I feel like we got a bunch of answers. I do feel better about this first piece of the story. Now, I don't know if I've really connected many of the parts of Icarus cinematic yet, but I do feel like I'm seeing a bunch of pieces kind of flow together. So I'm pretty happy. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I absolutely will not watch Virtual Angel again. I can't do it. My brain, my eyes, I can't take it. We saw it once already. I can't watch it again in order. It's just too much. But we at least can tie together what we've seen from Birth to Icarus cinematic. And in the order of the video, it goes Birth, Virtual Angel, Icarus cinematic, and then we've got 2 more. Icarus Club, which is what we're going to watch next, and then Burn, official MV, which may or may not be, like canon, but we're going to check it out anyway. So next up is Icarus Club. And this says it provides an alternative perspective and potentially further insights into the Club Icarus setting. Is that right? I don't know if this is going to pan out. Let's check it out. Oh, is this literally the same video? Let's find out. This is the same video that's in cinematic. Let me just make sure. Yep. Okay. So the club version is hidden, not hidden. It is inside the cinematic version. You know what, though? We're going to watch this again. I'm going to tell you why. Now that we have the pieces of Birth, Virtual Angel, and then cinematic, if we take the pieces of the story that we know and we watch the choreo, let's see if the choreo tells us anything about the narrative that we're not seeing or that we didn't see the first time. Already, I can tell you from this right here, it's about birth. It's about the birth of whether it's Artemis or the girls themselves, the maidens, as you say, which I think is really good. And we're going to, because this visual already was represented in Birth, where we saw fall from the sky into the ground and then the seed being born through the ground. So the tricky part we're going to have to figure out is how does this apply to the Club Icarus that was shown in the cinematic version? Something to think about.
날 찾아 태양의 녹은 wings 끝없는 falling 모든 것이 불타올라 얼음같이 차가운 불꽃에와 art 다시 깨어나 I just wanna be unchained 두긴 제복인 없어 열리로서 끝까지 날개를 다시 펼쳐 버린 끝에서 새롭게 탄생을 꿈꿔 Hurricane 다시 한 번 더 fly away 작은 날개 더 크게 spread 세상을 다 불러들겠지 너를 향해서
This feels like that moment in cinematic at the very beginning where she hit the ground and didn't fly, didn't have wings. So far, agree or disagree, I feel like the choreo we just watched was kind of telling the story of the seed into the birth, into, see, I was going to say like more than one of them, but I think that's going to happen when we get that transition where there's one and all of a sudden there's 5 total. I think that is represented later. So, but here is the tie-in to the cinematic version here on the street with the wings. Is there a significance to this formation? There has to be. There's an evolution. This one throws me off, but there's something about this evolution of height in some way that has to mean something. It's a V? For what? Maybe. This part of the choreo coming up is the perfect expression for a phoenix rising from the dust. Even before I saw the lyrics, which I don't know if they happened before this, but later it was kind of confirmed for me that that's what was happening, because I was like, that's very phoenix rising up from the dust. And then later on, I think they actually said that. Very, very nice. The way they filmed it was great. They're obviously using what's called a bolt cam. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you as I'm sure we've talked about them. And I think this is part of how they did it. It's one of these robot cameras. Can you show me the camera? No, you can't. No. Bolt camera. It's one of the robot arms. I'm sure you've seen them. Moving right along. So if they film, let's say hypothetically, they film her on a green screen. That robotic camera has X, Y, Z axes that it can go off of. So it understands when it goes through its sequence, it is exact, right? So if we go to like position 438, it goes back to that position and then films her, and it knows its sequence. I wonder if, and I don't think it's green screen, but they hid some cuts in there pretty good with bringing the girls out to be behind her in that one part and then moving them around. So she moves off to the left and then there's one girl behind her and then the other three come around to the right. It's really, really well done. Yeah, I'm saying it has to be green screen in some way. But I also thought, well, like, is it LED screen? And I don't think so, because they actually show a lot of the ceiling of the garage or whatever it is. Like, I have to wonder if it's a 3D space where it's green screen, but in and I can't even think of the software right now, but you can build, like, maybe it's Unreal. They build a 3D space, and then you put that 3D space into the video where it has the coordinates and everything of how it does. So it knows when the camera looks up at her, it knows the ratio or the perspective of how to put that 3D box of the garage in there. It's kind of convoluted, and I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I think that's a general idea. Yeah, she would have to be rotoscoped, like basically carved out, masked out. But the systems do a lot of that work for you nowadays, thankfully, because that is a dreadful, dreadful method to go through. But anyway, as far as the choreo goes, I think it was really good. But I still don't understand how it applies to the club scene happening in the cinematic version of the video. You know what? I wonder. This is a hell of a stretch. We talked about the formation of the girls here. Seed, the first birth, growing up, and then separated. See, this one's by herself. Born, growing up, separated by themselves. Maybe. You know what would kind of make sense? And I feel like I would be satisfied if this were the case. Her expression kind of tells me a lot. Her expression and her body position, her behavior, her demeanor. So you have all these people. We're in the city. We have all these people with wings. If she is one of the girls, she has on her wings, right? She sees other people with wings and she says, maybe this is where I can find my girls. Like, I see people with wings. I have wings. Maybe this is something. She's very confused. She's nervous. Maybe, right? Maybe. Yeah, interesting. All right, so we have one video left. Burn. And it says, though it's not explicitly stated as part of the Icarus lore, some suggest, which is probably Reddit, its imagery is related and may offer context for the burning of wings. Burn. This is from 3 months ago. All right, so I think a lot of this is going to be hidden in the choreo. So we're going to have to watch the dance sequences and see what they're trying to tell us.
You can see me when I punch your face. 어제 아니 지금 나를 봐. Brand new. 숨을 더 내쉬고. We're gonna break it down. 때론 불안도 내 힘이 돼. Raise you to a new place. 어제로 두 번째 나에게 이미 시작된 걸. 날 자꾸 날아오르게 두는 것 감아. Last night new world. 깨어난 저 징그러운 deja vu. 뜨거운 속에서 소태어내려 해. 새빨갛게 빛나는 fire. Let's get it burn. I find you blood. You see me when I punch your face. Let's fire you burn. 빛을 먹으면서 목소리 burn burn burn. 버텨 점점 더 안에 빨갛게 피는 fire. 전부 fire 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 내 뒤에 있어. Break it down 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 burning heart. I got to run run run. 점점 더 땀이 내 전부 태워 fire. You can see me when I punch your face. 달라져봐 너의 모든 것.
I mean, to be fair, when I think of Icarus, I do think of when you see me, I punch your face. Yeah, that checks out.
불안해질수록 혈관은 숨을 쉬어. 모든 게 선명해져가. 뜨거운 속에서 난 또 빛.
So one thing that is noteworthy here is, yes, the color of red, but the transition between the color shots and the black and white shots. We're kind of doing the back and forth again. So that's something.
Get it burn. I find you blood. You can see me when I punch your face. Fire you burn. 빛을 막으면서 목소리 burn burn burn. 버텨 점점 더 내 안에 빨갛게 피는 fire. 다시는 태어나 다 버린 죄 속에 안녕히 나의 sweet lost child. 뜨거운 불꽃이 날 깨어나게 해. 새빨갛게 피는 fire. Let's get it burn. I find you blood. I find you blood. I find you blood. You can see me when I punch your face. Fire you burn. 빛을 막으면서 목소리 burn burn burn. 점점 점점 더내 안에 빨갛게 피는 fire. 전부 fire 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 내 뒤에 있어. Break it down 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 burning heart. I got to burn burn burn. 먼저 점점 더 땀이 내 전부 태워 fire.
Okay. Okay. So what are the tie-ins that we saw here? This is the last video. There might be more coming, but this is the last video that supposedly is part of the Icarus storyline. So we got the transitions between the black and white and the in-color shots. We have the red that is blood, which I feel like is representing sacrifice now in some way. Based on some of the lyrics. We've got the burning of the wings. We've got the phoenix aspect. So the burning of the wings does tie in with the Icarus, but I still have a lot of questions. The Phoenix second wings, yep. Artemis's blood, okay, and that's what I felt too. I just wasn't sure why I felt that way. I mean, maybe it was because the blood was in the glasses for the girl that was sitting at the table by herself, maybe. Also, it was in the river that was outside the kingdom, I guess, is one way to put it. Rebirth, yep. From the scene with the cuts on Artemis 2. Right, okay, so we did see that. But it didn't feel like it was sacrifice with Artemis. It felt like it was murder. Maybe Zeus. Maybe Zeus murdered Artemis. Is that a Greek thing? Is that part of the story? I don't know. Okay, so question. We might have to do some research here. If we assume, okay, we've got Artemis, the goddess of the moon, the huntress goddess of the moon. And we have Icarus. Where does Icarus... Oh, wait, Zeus and Artemis, that's father-daughter? Why is Zeus trying to blast his daughter with lightning? Rude. Okay, so where does Icarus fit into this? Well, it's Zeus. He does that. Okay, that's a t-shirt. That's Zeus. He does that sometimes. Where does Icarus fit in? I know the story of Icarus, but is there a connection mythology-wise with Icarus and Artemis and or Zeus with this triangle of characters? Because honestly, I almost feel like this whole storyline should be called Artemis, which, I mean, Artemis is the group name, right? Instead of Icarus. The Icarus feels like such a stretch. So Artemis is the group, and Icarus is the storyline. I feel like a 5-year-old trying to do basic math, and the parents, who's going to be YouTube, by the way, because they're the ones that already know this story, and they're like, it's 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. And you're like, if I have 1, and then I have 3, yellow. That's how we look right now. So I got Artemis, and I got Icarus, and I got Zeus. It's 4, right? Yeah. You don't think anyone knows? Let's be real. I don't think it's complete. Jojo, let me tell you something. Even the people that don't know, they think they know, and they will tell you as if they know. Trust me. If you say it with confidence. Yep. All right. Flying away from their prison. Okay. They think you know we know. What I love about Artemis MV theories is how resistant they are to obvious interpretation. That's a great way to put it. I feel like there's enough pieces that we can connect, which that makes me happy. We went all the way through the storyline according to Google. Birth, Virtual Angel, the cinematic version of Icarus, the club version of Icarus, and then Burn. We went through all 5 of them to try to see how many pieces we can put together. And I feel like we have a really good picture so far of the framework. But when we go back to the cinematic version of Icarus, that's the club version in there. Okay. Let's go back to this. The only time that we've seen the glowing entity, it's Artemis. I feel like that's pretty clear, right? Aside from being in the TV, which is still so strange to me. So that would be Artemis. Which would also kind of make sense if this was not one of the 5 maidens. Wait a second. Is this the daughter taking revenge on the mother? And that daughter is the daughter of Zeus, so Grandpa's pissed. You can't take revenge on your mother. Is that what's happening? Interesting. Tracy, you have lost your mind. Are you putting a spoiler in the chat? What's wrong with you? Hell no, I don't want to see what they're saying. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty good interpretation, right? Every time we've seen the glowing entity, it's been Artemis. So this could be the 5 girls going to they're trying to find each other so they can take revenge? Interesting. And that's why Zeus retaliates.
어떻게 하면 엄마를 찾아 복수할 수 있나요?
Huh. Wait, what did that say?
어떻게 하면 엄마를
How can I find mother to take revenge?
찾아 복수할 수 있나요?
Okay. And then we get into the choreo of the club scene. Wow. Icarus flew too close to the sun, burned his wings, fell to the ground. The girl in the story did not even get her wings, so she flew to the ground and crashed. This right here interesting. Then you have the others. You have others in the sky and hunters shooting the birds. Here's where I sit right now. I feel like after watching all 5 of them and literally this turning into an impromptu deep dive into Artemis, apparently, I have enough resolution that I'm satisfied. I feel good about this. I still have questions, but I feel like those questions can be found if we start to dig into like the actual mythology of like Greek mythology, like where Zeus and Artemis, and you understand there's a lot of answers that are there, but it gets deep. And I'm okay with that. I'm glad we went this far because I didn't want it to be a lost situation, right? And for when we talk about that, here's what we mean when we say that. The show Lost went on for like 10 seasons, and it grabbed everybody. We were enthralled. You watch one episode and you're like, and it brought all these questions. Oh my God. What does that mean? And then you went through the first season and it brought more questions. You're like, this is mind blowing. Second season, introducing new characters. Oh, what does that mean? More questions. You get to season 5. Oh, this is crazy. Plot twist. More questions. Season 8, season 9, season 10. This is how are they going to wrap it up? It's going to be crazy. Yeah, it was just a dream. Turns out, after 10 seasons, the producers admitted they didn't know what was going on. They were just making it up as they went along. They didn't have any answers. They just kept adding shit. Yeah. Disgusting. Pathetic. Now, they made their money. They had us. Now, I say us. I actually never got into the show. I watched like the first season-ish, a few episodes. I thought it was brilliant, but I never got wrapped up. Not because I know better, just because I was playing World of Warcraft and I was addicted. But, yeah. Yeah, polar bears, smoke, timers, a door in the ocean. Like, oh, what's in the door? You'll find out at the end of the summer. No, you won't. They open up the door and it's a timer. Huh? What does the timer mean? You'll find out tomorrow. Tomorrow, new episode. We found the timer. Oh, it doesn't have any batteries. It has a note on the back. Who wrote the note? You'll find out tomorrow. What a bunch of shit. Lazy. They got us. So anyway, that's what we mean when we say lost. Yeah. Thankfully, I don't feel that way. That is how I felt when we first watched the cinematic version, but we did our due diligence. We dug deep, we worked together, and I feel like, you might not feel like this, I feel like we got enough answers and resolution that I think this is pretty great. I do. I think this is really well done. And I'm glad because the cinematography of this was spectacular. The choreo in the club version, spectacular. Great. Virtual Angel? No. And you can yell at me all you want. Well, they worked so hard. I don't care. It didn't work. You can't flash me for 4 minutes and expect me to understand WTF is going on. No. Your whole music video made me nauseous. It didn't work. I'm sorry. The other pieces, though, very well done. Very well done.